today. We have a travel team who's been here all winter, who's doing a practice about to start. So we're not going to get in their way, but I want to show you something. So this is not a college weight room. It's not fancy. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but that's by design. So everything back here is functional, meaning if a pro guy comes back here and needs to lift 4 or 5 times a week, which these guys did all winter, they have everything they need, but you just have to know how to use it. So I don't want you guys to think that getting in a weight room and moving weight as a middle schooler is the goal. The goal is to move your body really, really correctly. And you can do that through speed work. You can do it through some of the things like we just did on the wall. Eventually, you will move a lot of weight on the ball. But that can't happen until your body moves correctly. So in a lot of high school kids, we have binders over there on that shelf. And the first month or two they're here, we don't let them do baseball. They have to be back here because they do not move well. They walk in and you ask them the first thing, hey, how do you feel? Well, I'm always sore here and here, and I've had a back injury, and my hips hurt, and my ankle, I sprained my ankle last week. Like, you just start learning what's going on, and as soon as we hear that, we know what to do about it, and the fixer will be back here. Different exercises, different things to get their body to start moving correctly. Usually it's in bare feet, because we want their feet to learn how to move correctly on the ground, and a lot of times the issue is in their ankles, in their knees, and their hips. So when we see a guy walk in, a high school guy, we can tell if he's a righty or lefty, if he's a position player or a pitcher based on how he walks. Pitchers are typically rolled in, position players are typically sitting out, and it's just because when you get tired or when you grow a lot or you're not aware of it, your body just starts to mold just to kind of get through it. But it's usually not going to be perfect. So if we can get guys to learn how to move perfectly with their feet and their hips and their ankles, everything else gets real easy with moving all the heavy weight, and then the baseball stuff gets real easy. So if I've never met you, and you came back here and spent a month, and then I went over there to do the pitching drills, you're going to pick them up real quick. But if I came in and we start throwing curveballs and having a big old time over here, and we didn't do anything back here, we're going to end up back here anyway because we're going to be hurt. Or we're not going to get better. So everything in our building happens back here. We have a few trainers who are full-time. They work with our big leaguers all the way down to our 13-year-olds. And it's all the same plan, it's just based on the level you are. So for example, let me pick someone else. I need to know. And you go grab me a baseball. So I'll give you a real quick example of something someone your age would do in here to help learn how to move better. Okay? Attaboy, look at it. Perfect. Now, do you want to get on this thing or do you want to pick someone to do it? All right, let's go. Sorry, too late. You already nominated. All right, one foot on each side.
Oh, this.
Take your time, by the way. Anyone who's done this won't laugh because they know it's not easy.
Yep.
Spread out a little more. Get to the edges if you can. All right, why don't you start on one edge? Start on one edge and I'll go to the other edge. Good. Bend your knees like a squat and keep your head on me. Breathe. Ready? I'm going to flip it. You catch it and flip it. Keep your eyes on me. Ready? You're fine. Stay right there. Stay right there. You're going to get the idea. Ready? Eyes on me. Eyes on me. Eyes on me. Eyes on me. That's awesome. Perfect. Thank you. So, here's what we're doing there. We're teaching our feet and our hips and our body how to find middle, how to find balance. So when we get over here and we're in high school and we say, we're going to learn how to throw the ball hard today. I want you to drain the tank with your effort and give me all you have. If your body's used to balancing and finding middle, it's so much easier. We also have high school kids, big, strong dudes, and they can't move at all. And it doesn't work over there. Meaning it's super inconsistent. You have a great day and then you have a terrible day and they don't know why. It's usually because they haven't learned how to move. So we do a lot of that stuff for younger guys. We do a lot of incline and decline work, working on being on the slope at different angles, all for the point of being a better athlete. So in our opinion, if you're really good back here, not only are you going to be a better hitter and thrower and defender, but you'll be better at your other sports too. Okay? So it's a little bit of what all of us old guys did when we were younger, when all we did was play whatever sport was in season. We played it all day long. one of the things we were doing, and we didn't even know, is we were cross-training. Today's cool word is cross-training, right? It's the same thing. It's being athletic. It's like the dude who I showed you on the hit tracks who also did water polo and everything else in high school. If you learn how to be athletic, you can apply it to almost anything else you do, okay? And when I say athletic, I mean stuff like that. Yes. And eventually you do it on one foot, and then eventually we'll take a small ball and put the guy on the wall and have him pick up one foot and throw off the wall to himself. One foot, then the other foot, and that's his warm-up. That's just part of the warm-up. And then there's about 5 other things that are like that, okay? So we make it fun. We try to have fun. Okay, questions? So the weight room is super important because you have to learn how to move, not because you're trying to move a bunch of weight. When you're ready to move weight, you will. When you get to high school, a lot of coaches are not going to take their time and learn this stuff. They're going to go right into the weight stuff. You need to learn this before you get to high school. So whenever they want to start loading up weight, you can handle it without getting hurt. Again, I know it seems like a long way away. It's not. It'll be here for you. So do it now. Okay? We do a ton of arm care. If you guys do crossover bands or J bands, keep doing them. A lot of my staff and I, we started doing them at your age. We still do them today. We've done them for years, and our arms never hurt. And I think that's a big part of it, because your body has adapted to it. Remember I talked about when a guy walks through, you can tell what position he plays? You know, it'd be really cool if you guys walked through at 15 and I couldn't tell which position you played. Because your posture and the way you walked were very correct. That's a compliment for a baseball player. Okay, so that's something I would shoot for if I were you. So every time you're leading off first base, you're turning and running the same direction. You have to do sprints and do things the other direction. We take big med balls off the wall and we will throw them in the direction that you turn to hit or throw based on righty or lefty. We also do them the other way. And boy, is it funny to watch an older guy try to turn his unnatural way. They're all over the place. That's why we do it. And sometimes we do that with hitters too. If they're struggling on their natural way, we'll have them flip over and swing the other way, even if they don't do it. And they laugh and think it's funny, but after they spend about 8 or 10 learning how to do it fast and aggressive and they flip back, it usually comes right back. It's just the way the brain works. When you switch it and make it change gears and go the other way, they start to move a lot better. Okay. And I think a lot of that just has to do with your body needs to be challenged to do everything you can make it do, and it's way easier at your age than it is in high school. Think about how many reps of doing it wrong between now and 17 could happen if you don't learn how to be really athletic. Think of it that way. So if you just keep doing what you're doing now, that's great, and that's better than doing nothing. But at the same time, what if it's not moving well, and then you get to 17 and somebody says, hey, I know you want to play in college, can't do it until you move well. How many reps does it take at 17 to undo all those years? So think of it that way. Learn how to move when you're young. And if you do, and these coaches are going to help you be really, really athletic, you're going to thank them when you get older. Because none of you will be the sore arm guys, and none of you will be the blown hamstring guys, and none of you will be those type of fellows who are always beat up. Okay, so being athletic now makes it way easier to make adjustments when you get older.
And if I could just point out a couple of things to you guys as we're talking about. So we've talked about unlearning is harder than learning, right? Unlearning is harder than learning. So that's what he's talking about here. Okay, you have the opportunity at this age to start learning it the right way, the correct way, and get ahead of probably 90% of the other players out there that aren't focusing on these little small things now. Because these actual, what we think are small things are actually the big thing in the big picture. Okay, because you heard what he's talking about. Those numbers are going to go up if you can do stuff like this. And they'll just go up by themselves. We're not working. Obviously, you want those numbers to go up. But this is the stuff that's going to get those numbers, being an athlete. Now, I've heard it before. I've heard it from Coach Nick. I've heard it from other coaches. A college is looking at your athleticism. Where can they use you? That kind of thing. So that's what he's talking about, being athletic. And that's what they're training kids here to do. First and foremost, be athletic. And all the other stuff will come.
That's right.
Along with it.
You know, you're all going to get bigger and stronger. So don't look at your progress from getting bigger and stronger as that's the only way you can get better. Because what if you hit your growth spurt late? Does that mean you need to be the worst player? I think it makes you the best player because you have to work harder to get more polished on this stuff. Some of our best players were not the best players at 12. They were the best players at 18. Because at 12, they were just trying to hang on. And how do you make a team when you're the smallest guy at 12? You have to do everything right. So it'd be really cool if you guys learn how to do everything right. And then if you hit a growth spurt, that's awesome. It just makes you that much better. But you're not dependent on being the biggest kid to be the best kid. And that's a big deal. You don't just say that to the runts. A lot of the guys on TV who train here, who are big leaguers now, you should see the pictures of them at your age. You know who they look like? Exactly like you. They had a dream and they were fired up and they wanted to work and they were super competitive. And that's what I would look for. If I was picking a team of guys your age, bye Drew, thanks brother. If I was picking a team of guys your age, I would want the most competitive kids. And if no one else in the league wanted them, I would love that because we'd go clean their clocks. Now, would we win every game? Probably not. Would we do it the right way? Would we have a focus of what we want to do as human beings and being good friends and good supporters? Of course. But that competitive fire would be really strong. And we would take it personal if we lost, and we would go work twice as hard so we didn't lose again to that team. And I know you guys have coaches that are like that. So do it the right way. Work hard. You're going to earn everything that you put into it, but you got to be really, really competitive. Not to the point where you're mad and crying in the car if you lost. Not like that. Competitive with yourself. If I worked hard yesterday, I'm going to outdo myself today. So I heard a really cool thing from a guy who does mental conditioning with a lot of colleges and a lot of pro guys. And we asked him one day, we're like, okay, so he works with Alabama football. We're like, okay, so how much time do you spend with Coach Saban? How much do you spend with the players? And we thought he would say, well, I spend, like an hour with Saban and like 20 hours with the players. It was the exact opposite. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, how do you spend so much time with him? What about the players? The reason is because when he's with the players, he makes them find a partner and they become accountable to each other. He spends all the time with the coaches so the coaches can deliver the right message. When the players hear it, the players are accountable to each other. I thought that was pretty cool. Because if you guys become dependent on us to be good, down the road that could be a problem because it means you can't do it on your own. Or you don't know how to find someone else on the team you can do it with. So here's a good example. Come over here. Come over here, man. Thank you. Tell him something that you think he's really good at. Just one thing. Pick one part of the game. Hitting, pitching, running, throwing.
Running.
Pick one thing he's not good at. And you can be honest because that's what we're doing here. We're not picking on each other. We're going to be honest. One thing he could get better at.
Hitting.
Tell me one thing he's good at.
Hitting.
Tell me one thing he needs work at. Could you be accountable to each other to push each other on the things you're not good at? So what if you two had a pact that every week you're going to push each other an extra 20 minutes before or after practice, just you two, working on the things you're not good at. And you're accountable to each other. So if that first game comes around and he's not running well or he's not hitting well, you take it personal. If you guys did that and everybody on here buddied up, and then every week you find a new partner and do it again, it's amazing how far that goes. The reason I think that's important, I didn't think when I was younger, but now I think it's super important, because then your coaches can be the coaches and the advisors, and they don't have to act and try to wear 20 hats to help you get better. Okay? I think it's really important to start there.
I love that.
Thanks. Thanks.
What's
so painful, right? Like you thought that was going to be painful. Like, oh my gosh, what's about to happen? But you all know, right? You're old enough. You know what each other's good at and not.
Yeah.
The worst thing is if you get to the end of the season and somebody's still really bad at something and nobody told them. Or the person who told them was the coach and they just tuned it out. You know who you're going to listen to the best is each other. Okay? So I want you guys to take that to heart. It's really hard, by the way. Because there's going to be somebody on the team that may not be your best friend. And he's going to tell you something you may not want to hear. But if you really do it with each other and you're honest with each other, it can be really powerful.
What's the coach's name?
I will look it up and send to you.
Okay.
I saw him at ABCA in Nashville, and I've gotten to know him a little bit since then, and he's really good.
I was listening to a podcast with a guy that's what he does, and it might be the same guy.
It might be the same guy.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense, and you guys can actually do it. But it would be fun to watch you guys do that. So like watch him have a coach walk down the dugout and see each other talking to each other about, hey, listen, what are we doing? Like, we're working on this. Let's go. I got your back. You think I can do it? I think you can do it. Well, let's go. And now you're always accountable to each other. It'd be fun. Because even though it may hurt when somebody's not getting the job done, it's twice as fun when they do. Because you can get in the car and be really proud of your teammate.
Right.
Because you helped them get there. And that's the last thing I would say while you guys are in here today is a lot of what we do is about culture. So when I see a major league player sit next to a 14-year-old over there in the lockers and they're talking about baseball, I'm really happy. Because it means they don't have to listen to my boring voice all day, run my mouth. It means they can share stories with each other. Because that big leaguer used to be that 14-year-old. He used to be that guy. He can relate. So you learn better from each other, and if you have a culture of guys who all care about each other the most, we can tease each other, we can laugh at each other, we can poke fun at each other, but we support each other, good or bad. And that's what I always look for in here whenever we find players that want to be here. Not every kid's a good fit here, and not every kid here is a Division I draft guy. I don't care about that one. I care about good kids. They're also at an age where I don't want mom and dad around. So they book the times on our app when they're going to come in, and when they come in, and if something's wrong, I don't go to their parents, I go to them. And it usually doesn't even make it to the parents. It's between myself and them. We do that because when you get to college, that's how it goes. So we might as well start at a place like this when you're in high school, or, and even lately some middle school guys who are really good because they listen. But that's the whole point. We want guys to come in and tell us if something's wrong. Coach Nick, I don't like what we did. It didn't work in the game. I'm not happy with it. Awesome, let's fix it. That's all I need to know. Let's get to work. Coach Nick, this worked well. How do we do this again? What do I do about this coach? What do I do about I'm feeling stress at home with my grades or whatever? That's all awesome stuff because it means we're growing and we're working together. If we have guys who don't want to buy in and talk, they're not here. Okay? So I don't treat this place as it's got to be the best players in Atlanta. I want it to be the best people. The best people. Because guess what? Whenever they're 40, they're still coming by and bringing their kids over here. And we're probably doing business together, or at least we're friends together. And we have a lot of memories to share. And then they can go help others just like people help me. So I'm very fortunate. I had a great group of people who helped teach me. And it wasn't like for any extra recognition, it's because that's what was done for them. They just passed it down. And I think my staff and I here try to do the very same thing. What can we pass down that was given to us that you can't get anywhere else? And what we're trying to do is trying to be mentors. To do that, we have to have the right guys. So if you guys always want to be someone that a coach wants on his team or teammates love to have around, think about that. How are you impacting others around you? It's a big deal. College coaches and pro teams, whenever they start picking players, a lot of that has to do with culture. Are these good people? Are these people who can keep it glued together when things get bad? Because they will get bad. You're going to get your butt whooped. You're going to have a bad day. There's going to be pressure. Something's going to happen. That's how this game is wired. So when we're here all winter with our pro guys, for example, it's great. Now we watch them on TV. Hey, great day. Yeah, we knew that would happen. Bad day. Uh-oh. The next thought's got to be, what do we need to do to fix it? Not, I knew he was bad. No. That's not being good culture. What do we do to fix it? How do we help him? Oh, he's got it? Awesome. Leave him alone. He needs help? I'm here. Call me. Text me. I'll fly to you. Whatever we got to do. So that culture starts at your age. So be accountable to each other. Help each other. There are places like this that are out there. There are colleges like this. Some high schools are like it. Pro ball's like it. All about the right people. Right? I want all of you guys to be the right people.
When he says culture, it kind of what we talk about is attitude. Mm-hmm. It's the same, one and the same.